Hello. Having just celebrated Easter, we've come to that wonderful moment where the clergy are perhaps in a little bit more rest now after a busy week. We've still got Low Sunday to come. I found it rather interesting that this year I think I've seen more sort of little videos cropping up which rehash some of the old ideas that the resurrection didn't really happen. There's been a lot of disinformation being broadcast this year, and it's interesting how they always try and do this round about the time of Easter, perhaps to try and deflect people away from feeling religious and more to feeling inclined to buy chocolate eggs instead. Enjoy the holiday rather than remember the dark thoughts that occurred that we celebrated last week. That's something that we certainly find. As I think I've said before somewhere along the line, that the world likes Christmas because Christmas is about birth and people like babies. But people don't like dying, people don't like to being faced with the idea of pain and agony. And so the whole idea of Good Friday isn't something I want to remember. And likewise, resurrection is seen as something silly. So that's why we have these sort of little skits every major Christian festival to try and make us remember that, it didn't really happen, trying to stop people from encountering the risen Christ. Which is sad. And also untrue. There's a whole raft of great deal of untruths. For example, literally, I think last week I saw the idea, Mary wasn't really a virgin when she conceived Jesus. And they go through that whole business of saying, if you look at the idea that the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, the Greek doesn't really say virgin, and the Hebrew doesn't really say virgin. Again, you look at the context, and yes, it does. Again, it's taking something out of context and using it to try and prove things. And that's something we have to guard against as Christians. There is the idea of proof texting, trying to prove an argument by taking out selected verses to prove a point. And it's not really very, very good. One of the favourite ones is to try and take chapter 3 of Galatians, verse 28, in which he says, in Christ there is no slave or free, no male or female, and then try and justify all kinds of social justice ideas behind it. The idea that men and women are interchangeable, for example. And yet you read that verse, you read that in context, and you realise that this isn't about relationship to each other. It's more about relationship to the church, that anyone can be part of the church. And that is a bit of a revolution, social revolution, for the people of Galatia. So, as Christians, we have got a lot against us at the moment. This is a shame, because I think with Christianity we have a great deal of hope to offer. And I think we are now at a crucial time where we, as Christians, do have hope to give. Because clearly the world is becoming a very dark place. We have worries about the environment. We have worries about the war in Ukraine. We have worries about financial security, whether we're going to be able to feed or to eat. And only the other day, again, I saw another report that there was a comet heading straight for us. I read the article, and yes, it is heading straight for us, but will probably be more likely to be deflected by planet Jupiter. So there will be wars. There will be rumours of wars. There will be signs in the skies, in the stars. But none of them point to the second coming. Which I might say is a bit of a shame. I'm rather looking forward to the second coming. But that's not a problem, because anyone who's faithful to God will see him. In fact, we will all see God, whether we're atheist or not. We will stand before God, and that will be that. But we have hope as Christians to give people. The first hope is that things pass, times pass. We also have the hope that things can change. But most of all, we have the hope in God himself, God with us. God raised from the dead, that even in the darkest, most horrible circumstances, even when all seems irretrievable, light bursts forth, that we are not condemned to die. And should our bodies fall in the dust, they will be raised. As St. Paul says, if there is no resurrection, we Christians are the most wretched of men. Which is perfectly true. Why not just enjoy yourself? If there's no resurrection, why not just enjoy yourself? Why not just live life in a dissolute and selfish way? And the answer is because we believe in the resurrection. We believe that God will raise us back up to life. And there will be people who say, come on now, dead people don't come back to life. And yet it's not logically impossible. And indeed, it's historically, the historical facts suggest that certainly one person did, and that was our Lord Jesus Christ. So that's where we find ourselves. Dark times may be, but there is light shining in our darkness, and that light has to come from us Christians. It's our responsibility now. So, God bless you. God bless you in the dark times. God bless you when all seems forlorn and desolate and in despair. God bless you in the dark times, that you may see the light of Christ. God bless you in your ministry as a Christian, that you may show the light of Christ for hope for so many people who need to see it. And God bless you that you may know the risen Christ at your resurrection when the time comes. God bless you. Please pray for me.